Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 2022 goals video. I have never made one of these before, but that's mostly because in the past, when it comes to both reading goals and my channel, I tend to set things for myself to accomplish, and then it ends up putting a lot of pressure on me, and then I kind of just shut down. This is why I don't do TBRs very well. It's a whole thing. So, I'm trying it out this year, not in a, if I don't finish this, I don't know if any of you guys also have this mentality, but it's more of a fear of, like, failing, I guess. I don't know. I'm setting this forth not in a fear that I will fail it by the end of the year, but by next year, if I look back on this video and I check out what goals I have and have not done, I'm not really too worried about it. It's just, oh, I didn't get to that. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. I'm going to start off with, I think 5, maybe 6 of my personal, like, reading goals. I also have a section of this video that's going to be my channel goals specifically, but most of you guys are here to talk about reading, so that is what I'm going to start with. So my very first reading goal for 2022 is to finish more series, because I am actively in the middle of about 61 series, which sounds really, really, really bad. Not all of those are series that I am, like, actively trying to do. It's more like I went through, when I created my spreadsheet, I went through my entire Goodreads history, and any series that I have read the first book in and I would like to finish someday has gone on this list. I did not include the series that I started that I no longer care about continuing on in. This does also include all of the series that are not currently finished being written, but I am up to date on those. But the series of that type really only encompasses 14 out of those 61, so it's not great. I have a serial habit of starting series and not finishing them. I would like to knock that number down at least by 5. I'm not trying to get crazy here. I'm trying to knock that number down at least by 5 series this year. At least get caught up on them so that when a new book comes out, I will be prepared, or finish them entirely so I can knock them off of my series tracker. It's gonna be not too big of a task as it sounds, because there are a lot of those series that I do only have one book left in. Like Rhythm of War is on my list to finish out this year. And that will close out the Stormlight Archive for me as it currently stands. There's a couple of, like, duologies on there that I do only have the second book in to read, so it's not as bad as it sounds, but it is something that I would like to do, because 61 ongoing series is ridiculous for anybody. I mean, I don't know what to do with that number. The next goal that I have is to try and balance out my genres more. I know that especially towards the end of 2021, I was burning myself out on fantasy, and I hope that it's not still ongoing. It kind of is still ongoing. I am not in a slump right now, at least I don't really think that I'm in a slump right now, but I would like to balance it out a little bit more. So I read majority fantasy last year. I mean, it encompassed, I don't have the stats for last year pulled up right now, but it encompassed a large chunk of what I read. I would like to balance it out with things that are sci-fi or romance. I don't really read much outside of those genres, but if I could maybe make it like a third of each, that would be great. That's not really what I am aiming for. Is just I would like to make it a little bit less fantasy, a little bit more of the other things. I do have a lot of sci-fi that needs to be read. I have an entire shelf of romance novels that needs to be read. So I would like to give myself those palate cleansers to kind of not burn myself out on fantasy quite as much this year. And in keeping with that, but not necessarily the same thing, I would also like to try and make sure that I read more graphic novels. I have always had this kind of as a mental goal for myself, like, oh yeah, I really need to get to that someday. I'm trying to make it a priority this year. If I have a graphic novel that I have not yet read, I would like to read it and get that done. I have several that I have owned for a while. I've had Monstrous for over a year and I haven't picked it up, and that's, 1, absurd because it looks fascinating and the art is beautiful, but 2, it's absurd because it's super short and I have 0 excuses for not having read it yet. So Monstrous is one of those, Deadly Class is one of those. I have the entire first compendium of Fables now. I really need to read some of those. More graphic novels is what I need to do. My 4th goal for reading is I need to DNF more. This hurts me a little bit. I don't really know how I'm going to implement this because I've struggled so much with DNFing in the past. I would like to say that just because I'm going to prioritize it, it's going to be easier. I really don't think that's going to be the case, but we're gonna see. I think that I'm going to give myself a little bit more of a break on arcs. If I am not feeling an arc, I'm not going to shove myself through it. I did that a lot of the beginning of last year, and I just burnt myself out and sent myself into a reading slump. Around spring, I think, is when that happened. That also leads into my next goal. I will get into that in a second. But DNFing more is something that I would like to establish in my reading life because I just force myself. The problem with me and DNFing is, one, I'm a bit of a completionist, which doesn't make much sense after what I just said about the whole series thing. But it kind of is like this weird thing in the back of my head that doesn't go away if I haven't finished a book, where I'm just kind of like, well, what if the end of it got really, really good and you would have loved it after all? I think that if that's the case, I'm giving myself license to just skip to the end and see if I care to find out how they got there and go from there. That's kind of my slide into DNFing books, because just DNFing at like 35%, if it's not something that I'm absolutely hating, but something that I'm just kind of feeling okay about, I don't think that I am going to be able to just put it down and not think about it ever again. There's always going to be a small part of me that is just like, but what if something really, really awesome happened in the parts that you didn't read? In terms of DNFs, the rating thing is going to be a little weird. My spreadsheet does allow for DNFs. I think that if I have read more than 50, maybe 70. If I've read more than 70% of it before I decide to put it down, I'll rate it. If I don't, I'm just going to leave it at DNF. Then I think we're going to go with 70%. I think at 70%, you have a very good concept of how everything has gone, and at that point, if you don't know, then what else is there to say, But yeah, I think the 70% is going to be a good piece of it to have read in order to say that I can still rate it. This is a personal thing. Obviously, I am not the end-all be-all decision maker on DNFing books, but I think that's how it's going to work for me. I say this not very confidently because me DNFing books, it just doesn't work. But the final goal that I was leading into was I would like to do better with my arcs. Arcs got a little bit crazy for me towards the end of 2021. They all kind of happened in September, and I fell very, very behind. January has been kind of similar that way for me. I'm still working on one of my last 2021 arcs, which is The Liar's Knot. Obviously, I do have a physical copy of it, which I have shown in previous videos. So it's out. I am behind, and because I am so behind, it's already 2 weeks into January, and I haven't read any of my January arcs. January, I think, so far has been the worst month for me, so they're going to be a little bit late, but once I get caught up, I think that for the rest of the year, I would like to do better at completing my arcs when I need to have them done by. So, we have gone through all of my personal reading goals. If you care about my BookTube channel goals, go ahead and stick around. If not, I don't blame you because a lot of people that are not booktubers really don't care. But my very first channel goal for the year is I would love to hit 1,000 subs by the end of this year. I'm not pressuring myself, but as long as I see some kind of channel growth, I will be satisfied. I'm trying not to pay too much attention to the numbers, but it's really hard not to when you see them increase and or decrease as time goes on. The YouTube's channel and the algorithm, it's just all over the place. So my tippy top goal would be to hit 1,000 subs this year, but if I don't hit it, I'm not probably going to be too disappointed in myself. I know that my life does tend to get in my way of filming my videos as consistently as I would like to. I've done fairly good at it for the last month and a half, posting consistently, and honestly posting, I think, 3 videos a month the entire time, all of December and the first 2 weeks of January so far. Sometimes more than that, so I would like to keep that up, which leads into my next goal, which is honestly just to continue posting consistently. There were several times throughout last year where I didn't get any videos up at all for a couple of weeks in a row, or I just didn't post very consistently. I didn't post on the days that I wanted to post on. I just want to make it as consistent as possible. I spent almost all of December, even with family and vacation and all of that stuff, posting 3 videos a week, and that was really great for me. I noticed a change in my channel because of it. I have done it for the first 2 weeks of January already. I am hoping to do it, even though life is about to get very, very hectic over the next couple of weeks. I would like to continue doing it then. I'm going to give myself a break if it becomes too much, but as long as I have this momentum and this desire to film this many videos, I would like to keep it up. I love being on here. I love talking about books with you guys. I just love the community. I love getting my thoughts out on all the stuff that I'm reading. So posting 3 videos a week consistently throughout this year would be nice. If it's 2, great. If it's 1, great. If it's none, I am giving myself a break, but I would like to do that. The next thing that I would like is to try to do some themed vlogs. Themed vlogs have always been a cool concept, but they kind of have veered too close to the realm of TBR for me. But I think that if I give myself the mentality of you can do this as long as you spread it out over the course of however long you need to spread it out. I mean, the problem with me seeing other people's themed vlogs is they do film them generally over the course of several months, but to me, it seems like they have filmed them relatively quickly, and so me thinking, oh, I have to read all of these books for this themed vlog over the next couple of weeks goes into the thing with the TBR where my brain just shuts down. I am working myself around to an idea TBR-wise. I will get into that momentarily, but I think that if I give myself the break where I say you can do this over however many months you need to do this, and it'll just be that long for that video, that's perfectly okay. I have a couple of ideas for what I would like to do for themed vlogs. It's not really a secret. I'm going to say that one of them is to read a bunch of my BookBox books. I have a bunch of BookBox books that I have not read yet, and I would like to because they're very pretty editions, and I would like to know if they're things that I would need to keep or get rid of or whatever. Book of the Month books I have that I haven't read yet, so a lot of my BookBox books need to be read, and I'm thinking of putting that into a themed vlog where I do that. This idea obviously came from Jessie from The Bookish Mom. If you have not subscribed to her channel, go ahead and do that because I don't know why you wouldn't know who she is if you're here, but go and check out Jessie. She did this a couple of times. We get a bunch of the same book boxes, and so when she was doing this, I think with a bunch of her fairy loots, I was like, that's brilliant. I need to do that so that I can get rid of some of my TBR book box books that I haven't read yet. So that's one of the ideas. The other one is my unhaul project. I think that I have hinted at that in a couple of videos. I have an unhaul cart now. Again, video idea stolen from Becca and the Books, but she does These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 months, I think, where she puts the books on her unhaul cart. If she hasn't read them in the next year, if she hasn't picked them up in any way in the next year, then it's time to get rid of them because obviously they're not a priority. I'm going to combine this with a video idea from Chelsea over at Chelsea Zhao because she did an unhaul project where she would pick up one of the books that she was thinking about unhauling, read a chapter or so of it, and if she wasn't loving it, DNF it and it goes to the unhaul pile. And that is brilliant. I think I'm going to need to pick a set of books off of that and dedicate an entire video to picking it up, reading a chapter, and if I don't love it, I DNF it. I don't know how it's gonna go, but we're gonna see. Another thing that I would like to do is I am more of a lurker on BookTube and on Book Twitter and on Bookstagram. I do tend to, I watch a lot of videos, I see everybody's tweets, I lurk around on Bookstagram. I'm really, really bad at communicating back unless the communication is on my channel. I'm trying to do better at commenting, whether it's just an emoji that I have been there. My problem is that when I'm working, I can't really touch my phone, and YouTube's app doesn't necessarily make it the easiest to back out of something and comment on it. And also if I'm watching something on my TV, it's really difficult to comment on it if I've got it on our Amazon Fire Stick or whatever. But I am going to try to make it a priority to interact more on other people's videos because I know that it helps them. I know that it helps their channel. I know that it helps the algorithm. So I would like to let people know that I am watching and that I'm not just lurking. That's a blanket statement. I probably, if you are one of my BookTube friends, I am watching your videos. I just, am really, really bad at saying it. So that's another thing that I would like to do. I have 2 more things on this channel goals list. One of them is switching from the weekly vlog format to a weekly wrap-up. I don't know if this is going to happen all the time. I don't know if I'm going to do vlogs interspersed with wrap-ups, switch them out, I don't know. The vlog format for me, I just don't go anywhere, guys. I don't do anything. I don't make the most aesthetic looking vlogs, so it's pretty much just me here, usually, with not very much B-roll, and I don't know if that's entertaining to you guys or not. So I was thinking about switching to the weekly reading update format, maybe putting out a video on Monday that I have filmed on Sunday, talking about all the things that I read the previous week and my thoughts, and catching you guys up on that, instead of filming over the course of 7 days and, like, constantly updating in that manner. I don't know. We will see. That's more of a tentative goal. I will try it a couple of times, I think, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then that's okay. And my final goal, I talked about this a little bit briefly. So TBRs and I do not get along, and I know that that will continue to be the case. I am instead thinking about soft TBRs. There's another booktuber I watched, and I really don't remember which channel it was right now, and I'm very, very sorry about that. But I was watching somebody's channel, and they were talking about how they do TBRs not with the intention of making that a hard reading list for them for that month, but more as a suggestion of the things that they would really, really like to get to, but things that they don't have to get to. I think that that is okay for me. Not treating it as a list of books that I plan on reading in the coming months so much as books that I'm really interested in getting to sooner rather than later. I think that doing it that way might make my TBR videos a little bit more successful. We shall see, but I know that I do generally go into every month with an idea in the back of my head of like, oh yeah, I'd really like to read that, or oh yeah, I'd really like to read that. So it's not really me setting strict TBRs for myself so much as me letting you guys know what's already going on in my head in terms of what I'm planning on reading. That was a lot. I have a lot of goals that I would like to accomplish. I guess I will see you guys in a year and figure out if we actually hit any of these. If we did, that'd be great. I'd be real proud of myself. You go, future you. But other than that, I don't really have much else to say about it. So good luck with all of your 2022 goals. I hope you all hit them as well. Other than that, I will leave any books that I talked about, I don't know if I did or not, in the description box down below. Down there, you're also going to find a rep code for Unplugged Book Box, which is CAT5 for 5% off of your subscription, and that's next to my Book of the Month affiliate link. You're also going to find links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram in case you guys wanted to follow me on any of those. But that is it for this video today, guys, so don't forget to like it if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content from me. Other than that, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!